So, gentlemen, I would like to talk you through a couple of GPTs that I've made recently, which make the process of starting a script just feel a lot less stressful. So the first one I want to talk to you about is called StakeBake. Now, it sounds a little bit weird. It's all about putting stakes into your script without having to think so hard. So we know stakes are obviously very, very important for making your viewers watch longer because they need to feel, let's say in an educational video, like there is something at stake for them, right? If they don't learn whatever it is we're trying to teach them, there's going to be something at stake for them. So maybe it's that they don't achieve the goal that they're aiming for. It might be that they might suffer economically. It might be that they never... whatever it could be, they never learn to bench press 200 kilograms. But in any case, we need to make something that feels very urgent for them to keep watching the video. So that's, quick roundup of stakes. And what this GPT is good for is if you're struggling to pinpoint exactly what it is your viewer should care about in a concept, this GPT helps you do that. And it does that from as little information as just a title. So I'm curious if you guys, if you could think just like a YouTube title of any sort,
yeah,
let's pop it in.
Can we try this episode? So we're looking at StakeBake right now. So if you
that's
look at
so good.
Getting meta.
Okay.
So if it's called How to Write YouTube Scripts 10 Times Faster with AI.
YouTube scripts 10x faster with AI. In fact, I should say, so you've got some different options at the start here. If in our case, we only have the title, you can click that. I have the video's title, help me create the stakes. It might be that you've got a little bit more information and that you can feed it more information. But in this case, we're just going to go with this first prompt. I have this video title, help me create stakes. What it's going to do is ask us what the title is. And so then, yes, Gwilym, let's use your title, how to write YouTube scripts 10x faster with AI. And we're just going to hit enter and see what it comes out with. So what it's doing is basically it repeats back to us the title initially. And then what it's going to do is start suggesting, first of all, the types of stakes we might want to include in this. Now, if we had really clear information about our audience avatar, we could feed it that as well. But this is with absolutely no other information, some ideas that we could include as the stakes. So time-based stakes, viewers are likely overwhelmed by how long scripting takes, which is kind of what I've referenced in the past on this podcast. The video promises to give them their time back. So again, these are all things that we probably have thought of after a brainstorm, but it's just so much easier to be like, yes, okay, that is a really obvious way that people might be encouraged to watch. Productivity, faster scripting, more uploads, faster growth, possible revenue gain. So we're really pushing it even further. We're thinking more steps ahead. I think that's really interesting. Emotional state, creators feel stuck or frustrated staring at a blank document. That's literally what I said earlier in this episode. AI could help them finally get out of their own way. Relevance, FOMO, AI tools are evolving fast. Viewers may fear falling behind if they don't adapt to their workflow now. That's that's very real and a little confronting. So there we go. And as you can see, that's the first bit really is at a basic level, what are the stakes? And then we have some ways to raise those stakes. And you'll get these same categories each time, by the way, so with any title. So we get add urgency, suggest that they are wasting hours writing the old way and are actively sabotaging their growth. Highlighting the transformation, showing a clear before and after. I used to spend 5 hours per script. Now it's 45 minutes and 3 times better. It's phrased a little bit weirdly, but it's trying to bend this towards how you would introduce these stakes in a hook. So obviously we might want to talk about our stakes throughout the video and re-reference them just to remind the audience why they're watching and why they should continue to watch. But really we want to be thinking about the hook when it comes to the stakes, and having this like before and after thing is a really interesting idea. Consequences, if you don't learn to use AI tools, you'll burn out, fall behind, or keep publishing average content too slowly. You might need to tweak some of these a little bit. That's a little bit similar to something we had earlier. But in any case, so I won't continue reading these, but what it also does at the end is propose some alternative titles, just based on these stakes that it's identified. This is Write Better Scripts 5x Faster with AI. That works, like that kind of, you feel like you would see that on YouTube. This AI method cut my scripting time by 90%. Not perfect. I think that would need some tweaking. Probably wouldn't use this one. But in any case,
I'm itching to ask it.
Go for it.
Please script 4 different hooks based on the 4 different options you gave.
Interesting. Okay, I've never tried this before, and this kind of would be partially covered in the second GPT. But let's try this live. Why not? Please script 4 alternative hooks. For this video, based on different types of stakes?
Based on the 4 types of stakes you gave.
Based on the 4 types of stakes you gave, audio listeners, I am typing this in. And let's see what it comes up with. So 4 hook options. Now this GPT is trained on my script writing course. So what I'm hoping here is that through this, it's going to be incorporating the elements of how I would think about writing a hook. But let's just see. Okay. I think what it has done is it's actually treated the hook as just like the first couple of sentences, but let's see. There we go.
Shall we choose the one we think is strongest and read it?
Sure.
Or what do you think?
You go for it. You go for it. I feel like it's been a lot of my voice.
Okay, scroll down a bit.
All right.
Oh, okay. I quite like... I like them all for different reasons, damn it. Number 4 is pretty good. Okay. AI is changing how top creators... Okay, imagine you're listening to... You just clicked in this video. AI is changing how top creators write, and if you're not adapting, you're already behind. In this video, I'll show you the exact workflow I use to write faster, smarter scripts before this window of advantage closes. I'd probably add like how much time it takes me in just 45 minutes or something. But maybe number 1 is strongest, actually. Number 1 is time-based. Jamie, do you want to read this one out?
Yeah, I'll read it out. If you're still spending 5+ hours writing every YouTube script, you're not just wasting time, you're falling behind. Today, I'll show you how to cut that down to 45 minutes using free tools such as ChatGPT without losing quality.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and this is it, right? We don't need this to get us to a finished hook, and all of these are going to need a bit more writing. But those two, that suddenly you've got this in 2 minutes, and it gives you a place to start from. However, what I think we can do, and I think this is thankfully proving why I think we need this second GPT whenever we move on to it, is that these are still a little bit vague. I think if I was looking at this, I'd be thinking, I don't actually know if this video is meant for me specifically. Like, am I a long form creator or a short form creator? Am I educational or entertainment based? What is it that I'm currently struggling with in the script writing process? Am I already using a bit of AI? I think the next GPT I'm going to show you will incorporate a lot more of the audience avatar into how it constructs the hook, which I think is going to hopefully lead to some slightly better results than these ones. But nonetheless, it's a good starting point.
Okay, cool. So do you just copy that first output that it gave you into the new ChatGPT and be like, here's some context, here's also the title of the video, write me an intro, or like what does this new GPT do?
Pretty much. So let me show you. And in fact, this StakeBake one is the most recent one I've made. ScriptHook is a little bit older. What I need to do, and I'm going to do this after this recording, is that I haven't trained this one on my entire script writing course yet. I've just spoken to it a lot and tried to like hammer it into shape. So potentially this could even get better once I throw in the actual course itself. But what you do essentially, my hook formula that I tend to use, that I must have mentioned on here at some point in the past, is target, transformation, and stakes. If we're talking educational, if it's entertainment, we're doing character, concept, and stakes. But for the sake of this, we're talking educational. So let's go with those 3 components. So yeah, let's go with take my title and 3-step formula to write a strong script hook. So we've got our title. Are we happy to stick with the original
let's do
one?
it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think let's see the extent to which these ChatGPTs going to be pushed.
Sure.
I wanted to basically do everything for me
Yes.
going forwards.
Nice. And pleasantly, it actually has reminded us of what the formulas are in case you didn't know them. So here's our title. Let's just clarify that's the title. So target, transformation, and so the stakes, we can choose some from the ones we had here. So I wonder, which do we think are the most
would you not put
relevant?
all of them in? Would you be very like selective of what you pick, as opposed to here's everything? Now that's all in sort of your context window. Do what you think is best to write the best hook.
Potentially. So I think the only issue is I've noticed this as one of the most common problems that comes up in my community, is that people really throw the kitchen sink at their hook, which can sometimes feel a little bit much. And it's like, hey, I was convinced to watch when you said I'm falling behind the AI wave. I didn't also need to be told all these other things. So I reckon we probably pick a couple of them, maybe a couple that feel complementary. So naturally we talked about the staring at the blank doc thing, so maybe that can go in there. And that's an emotional stake. And then I quite like this combination. It ramps up faster scripting equals more uploads equals faster growth equals possible revenue gains.
I think that's important, because most people, if you really dug into why they're making YouTube videos, it's because they want money. It's not, hey, I want to write better scripts because I like script writing. It's never because of that. It's because I want to get more videos out so I can make more money. Like it always comes back to making more money when it comes to YouTube.
Or to be fair, they want to, follow their dreams and write about what they find fun. But the script writing is the first kind of obstacle.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's fair. But yeah, I think it hits those points. So we've got two types of stake, an actual physical productivity one, and then the emotional side that comes with that. So now we have target and transformation. I think the GPT will have explained it, but essentially target is who is this for? So this is where we can go into a lot of detail. I think for the sake of this demo, we'll just pick out some kind of headlines that we're going to be discussing for the target viewer. And then the transformation is usually quite simple. What is it they're going to learn or gain? I mean, in this case, I'm just going to literally copy the title for the transformation because I think there's very little more to add. How to write YouTube scripts 10x faster with AI using free tools.
Would it not also be to make money? Or to write more scripts? Because if the transformation...
In order to blow up their YouTube channel, maybe.
Yeah. Yes. Because we're taking them from before and to after.
Yes. More videos faster.
With the end goal of
making more
money.
Revenue. Okay. So for the tape, we've got how to write YouTube scripts 10 times faster with AI using free tools in order to write more scripts and make more videos faster, brackets, thereby making more revenue. It doesn't need to be a particularly easy to read sentence, but it's going to internalize all of this stuff. Who do we think might be watching a video like this?
Beginner to intermediate YouTubers who've published a few videos, but are struggling to...
But you could also get more specific though, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's like, okay, YouTubers is quite broad, but you could say people who have small businesses and they're using YouTube to generate leads, that's why they would make more money. Then the language you use could change, just changing who the target is for.
I like that. So they're distinctly using it as a funnel for their business.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will take that into account with the language. Let's see.
And for people who are not sure, they can also ask, who do you think the main targets for this type of title would be? And then they
I've
get
done
the
that
options.
before, with ChatGPT. I'm like, I'll let you decide who you think is the best fit. Or I'll ask it, can you provide me with 3 people who you think would be interested in this? I'll give you an answer, and then you can proceed with the rest of the input. And that sometimes helps. So you're not, again, being stuck looking at the blinking cursor thinking, what do I write here?
It's true. I don't know. I mean, don't want to sort of throw too many things in and muddy the waters, but I do also have a template for YouTube specific audience avatars, which you could also fill in and then upload as one of the inputs here. Okay, but should we just go with this for now?
Let's go with this for now.
We could go a lot more detailed, but let's see what happens. So we're going to send that and see what it comes up with. Okay. Who fancies? Oh wow, it's relatively short actually, and we've got some B-roll suggestions as well.
So if you're a creator using YouTube to grow your business but feel stuck staring at a blank Google Doc, this might just change everything. In this video, you'll learn how to write high quality scripts 10 times faster using free AI tools, so you can finally upload more, grow faster, and stop letting content bottlenecks hold your revenue back.
That's pretty good. Content bottlenecks hold your revenue back.
Yeah, it's interesting that in terms of the target audience, of us saying it's a small business, there's no real mention of that other than kind of just saying it's going to hold your revenue back, which is...
It's all right, because, I mean, some people don't see themselves as a business necessarily. You don't want to... I don't know how much you want to niche down.
Yeah, because that first line is like, if you're a creator, where it could say, if you're a small business owner uploading videos to YouTube because you want to get more leads, then this video is going to blah, 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 blah.
So George, if you're looking at this, or you are looking at this with your community, what are your next steps? You've got this output. Like, what would you genuinely do?
With something like this, I think for me, this is the point where I kind of stop using AI. And I think naturally there, we just saw Jamie instinctively saying, oh, well, I think I'd probably say it more like this or tweak it a bit more like this. I think the point is this gives you a skeleton to work with, even just in terms of the ebb and flow of how it feels to read the hook out. But this is where I would be honing in a bit more closely just myself on what I'd really want to say. I think part of that could be solved by uploading a specific, like a full detailed audience avatar template. But I think you could even at this point specifically ask this GPT to focus more on X or Y aspect of it. And I wonder if that is
I like that. If you just paste in the hook and then like give me 5 different versions, each focusing on a different elements of this hook.
Interesting.
Sorry, I'm just prompting you to prompt the AI now.
Yes, yeah. Interesting. I always like to make it feel like it's done something cool. Could you rewrite 5 versions of this, each focusing more specifically on what was it, Gwilym?
On different
different
each
aspects,
focusing on a different aspects of
the audience or the target I described. And let's see what we come up with that. It's also, while it's doing that, we've got some B-roll suggestions as well, which is interesting. So some of these I found can be quite generic, but the opening line, footage of a frustrated creator at their desk, blinking cursor on a blank doc. 10x faster using free AI tools. We could have some screen recordings. This is all fairly rudimentary, but I guess it helps you just start to visualize it. Final beat, a relieved, motivated creator hitting publish with a smile. That's quite interesting, actually. Maybe we don't need the smile.
101.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see what they've done with these 5 different hooks. So we've got some different focuses here. We have the frustrated business owner who's wasting time, the creator who's posted videos but isn't growing, the creator who knows YouTube helps business but can't keep up, the creator who's mentally blocked or stuck, and the strategic thinker who wants ROI from their channel. That sounds similar to the first one. Should we just pick a couple of random ones, read them out, and see what we have?
Number 1 looks interesting.
Okay.
Frustrated business owner who's wasting time on scripts. Okay. If you're running a business and burning hours trying to write YouTube scripts that never quite land, this video is going to save your sanity. I'll show you how to script 10x faster using free AI tools so you can focus less on writing and more on growing your channel and your revenue.
I don't mind it.
Decent.
Don't mind that at all. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
If you go on YouTube and you click like a business channel and you listen to the intro, I'm not sure you will think like, oh, that other intro is like amazingly better than this one, unless it has something personal in it. Like, so I spent 3 years trying and failing to grow my YouTube channel. And I think that's what people should throw in, is the personal stuff that the AI can't generate for you. But
yeah, that's usually what I have with the hooks that I write. I have a slightly different hook framework to George, because I lean more on like proof than stakes. I kind of see stakes as more as of an optional thing if the video kind of warrants it. But I always start off with proof, because I think saying, here's how I've solved this problem, or here's how I've done it for someone else, or here's the result that we've got, and leading with that gets people to buy into you, see you as an authority and expert. And then you can go into like, here's how it's going to help you, and then lead into the stakes where you're like, if you don't use this tool, you're going to fall behind, or you're not going to make as much money. And then you like really push on the stakes where they're like, okay, I better pay attention.
I still think that you need the stakes to make it, the proof you're showing, feel relevant, if that makes sense. I don't disagree that most of these need to have the personal angle, and I think this framework does kind of lack that. I think you throw that in, or I think I will throw that in as part of the target thing, because it's like, who is it for? It's for who I was 2 years ago, and then I sort of nowadays just instinctively will use those personal anecdotes as part of the target segment. So I do agree that that's absolutely essential in most cases, but I find that stakes are pretty much always essential. Even it can feel a little bit like, oh, stakes, it has to be something huge, and it has to be a bit scary, and it doesn't have to be any of that stuff. It just has to be as simple as, and I've got all this proof, and the reason that's relevant to you is because you want to achieve this, and you might not. That's how I think about it. I don't know. Curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think for me, stakes are, there is this thing that you want. That's like the transformation. You can grow your revenue. And then the stakes are, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. Or if you do this, it's going to change your life in such and such a way. So it's more like personal, emotional. It's like, George, you need to get good grades so you can go to university. If you don't do this, you're going to be a failure and we will all hate you, or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, some past trauma coming out.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've got some options here. I know those of you watching, you've probably had a chance to read some of these other hooks. I don't think we want to spend too much more time on them, because there's a couple of other things I'd love to talk about in this space, just to give you a bit more inspiration before we call it a day. Are you guys happy to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. All right. So I want to briefly talk about a student in my community. It's called Josh. Josh, you watch these. If you've been watching this, comment below if you want to shout up. I know we've spoken about the fact you don't want loads of people who are the wrong type of avatar going to your channel. So feel free to say hi or not below. But Josh has been using AI in some really, really interesting ways, and ways that I'm like constantly thinking I need to just steal this and make a newsletter out of it. And I want to just give you some inspiration from that now. So Josh has been focusing a lot on audience avatar. We've been speaking about this in today's episode. And essentially, he's got a couple of ways that he's gone about using AI to really hone the scripts on the person you're talking to. And now this goes beyond just the hook. We're talking the entire script at this point. And yeah, there's a couple of ways he's been doing that. And I'd love to hear what you guys think about this and whether you kind of think about YouTube videos in this way. But he has got not only an audience avatar, but he also has an anti-audience avatar. So this is, in a lot of cases, if you're running a business and you're using YouTube as a funnel, you don't necessarily want as many views as humanly possible on your channel, because a lot of those people aren't necessarily going to be the right type of customers that are ultimately going to download your lead magnets, get into your funnel, and eventually buy your products. So what he does is very deliberately has this anti-audience avatar, the type of member who, if they started watching his videos, would negatively impact his ultimate outcome, which is to grow his business and get customers. So, I mean, I have an example here, and I'm basically just going to read how he's described these two types of avatar, just because I think this gets you into the way of thinking about, okay, who don't I want to watch my YouTube videos, which is not normally something that we would think of. So we've got here, Josh says, who I am for. He's named this person as well. Alex. Alex is in his mid-30s, mid-career, working in a big corporate. Finance, ops, marketing, maybe data. His work is technically strong. His insights are solid, but they don't land. He gets vague feedback like, make this cleaner. His slides get skimmed. His leadership nods, but doesn't act. He's not getting flagged for the next promotion, even though he knows his work deserves it. So we're going like, imagining a full person here. He's not looking for hype or fluff. He wants to get through to senior stakeholders, to present clearly, to influence decisions, to be seen as someone with strategic potential and get the promotion he deserves. That's who the channel is for. And then there's Samir. Search-based Samir shows up looking for step-by-step answers. He types how to make a dashboard in Power BI. Sorry, Josh, I don't know what that means. Into YouTube, finds a tutorial, skips to the part he needs and bounces. He values execution. He wants cheat sheets. He collects certificates. He subscribes to 20 channels and watches none of them. So as Josh described it, Samir is the wrong kind of viewer. He'll subscribe, ruin my retention, then ghost. The problem is there's a lot of overlapping interests with Alex, that first person. On the surface, Samir looks like a perfect viewer. He loves dashboards, Excel, PowerPoint, same tools as Alex loves, but the intention is completely different. And a lot of my content will get search-based Samir's attention. I just think this is a really, really cool approach. I think it's a really, really interesting way of thinking about it. And do you guys ever think about this anti-avatar for the channels that you're working with?
Yeah, I agree. This is so interesting. Several thoughts. One is I think it's really useful to clarify what would give someone else value, but that might give some tangential value to your core audience, but not be like super duper, oh my God, exactly what they need. If someone gave me these two and told me, and now I want you to write scripts for my channel, I would be able to do it much better because I'd be able to frame everything from Alex's perspective instead of Samir's perspective. So you can get the stakes set up in a way that hits. A lot of the channels that I've worked with, like the titles and thumbnails are already appealing to a pretty broad audience. Anyone who clicks on this, like the video is meant to be for anyone who clicks. So I can't think off the top of my head whether I would use it myself. Jamie?
I think that it's really interesting because I'm a big believer in knowing who you're making your video for. And I always work with my clients on that. I'm like, who are they? What speaks to them? What emotions do they feel when they see your title and thumbnail, the video ideas? What problems do they have? And I get really, really granular. And a larger of that is just because if you have that information, it really helps you just internally have a filter when you're thinking of video ideas, titles, and thumbnails. But you can also use that really well with ChatGPT when you give it all of this audience avatar and say, this is the type of person I'm making content for. But I've never really thought about it of doing the inverse and saying, these are the people to avoid. Do not speak to these individuals. I don't want to track those individuals. I think it's a really unique way of doing it. I actually want to kind of like plug that in now to like the strategy that I have with my clients to see how that will change things. I don't know, it might change things dramatically. It might just be the same because if you're very, very specific with who you're making videos for, you kind of will never even need an anti-avatar. I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting for sure as a concept. I'd love to see how it plays out once you actually, use both of them together.
And it would probably help you select video ideas. I've heard it a few times. Creators have done a couple big viral videos that blow up. And that was the intention. They wanted to expand the reach, and then suddenly they were landed with this audience that just didn't care about anything else they did. I don't know if YouTube has changed since then. This was like 3 years ago, but these people, it was a project to dig their channel out of what they saw as the ditch created by, like, there was this video that attracted people, and now everything I've done since just bombs.
Yeah, it's only an issue short term. Because like if you upload that one video, it gets a ton of new traffic. YouTube kind of learns, oh, okay, these groups of individuals like this particular piece of content. So when you upload your next video, it's highly likely that it's going to show it to those individuals again. If they don't click, then obviously, you're going to end up with like a 10 of 10 within the first few days and people aren't watching it. But YouTube's, a smart system that will over time, in the long term, learn, actually, it's this other group of people we should be showing this video to. Let's show it to them. But it's that like old adage, or like, I think it's like a Japanese line where it's very popular in Japan, where it's kind of like, if you're on the wrong train, the longer you stay on the train, the more expensive the train ticket back is. And it's the same thing with YouTube. Like if you spend 3 years making a particular, kind of content, and then you go, actually, I want to speak to someone completely different, or I need to go back and do this. It's difficult. You can do it, but it takes a long time. Because you kind of got to train the algorithm again to not show it to that core audience that you've built who are the wrong people.
So if you want either of the GPTs that I've spoken about in this video, you can get them in the description below by signing up to my newsletter. And to end this video, I want to show you a GPT in progress that I will be talking about in my newsletter when it's done. It's probably only going to be available for those inside my course and community, but I just want to give you a little preview of how it's looking right now. So this is Retention Reviewer. It's supposed to be a predictive retention graph creator. GPT at this point, ChatGPT, doesn't make the image look good at all. It was supposed to create, here's what your retention graph will actually look like. It was a disaster. But in terms of the actual text and what it does, I'm going to show you now. You basically copy and paste your entire script into Retention Reviewer. Because it's going to be available only for course members and community members, it is, of course, again, trained on my entire course. And what it's going to do is tell you where it thinks retention is going to drop, why, and how to fix it. So this is an entire script. I'm working on this right now. In fact, it's being edited right now. And I didn't have this GPT when I wrote this script. I wish I had. And you can see it gives you a score as well. So apparently this video is going to be about 72% good. But here are the issues. So potential drop-off zones. There's one line where I'm literally in a mountain when I'm filming this, and I'm like, but why am I telling you this up a mountain? Issue. While visually intriguing, this pivot into skiing feels like a hard context switch.
Disagree.
Thanks. I hope so, because it's very much locked in. Risk. Viewers looking for scripting advice might be thrown off. Possibly true. Fix. Tease why skiing relates to the script before diving in. Well, skiing weirdly explains exactly how most people screw up script writing. In fairness, anyway, I'm not going to try and defend the script. This is just the demo. It's not ready to go yet, but you can get a sense of other potential drop-off zones. Extended skiing analogy, possible problem. I need a mountain / paragliding jokes. Issue, these are funny. I thought it said these aren't funny for a second. But border on overindulgence.
Yes.
Without a clear, but I think sometimes you need to hear this, because I think one of the big problems is overindulgence when it comes to scripts. You can't help but get attached to things you think are funny, and you are maybe like an in-joke from something that you've experienced. But it's good to be told, hey, maybe I should just check this again. The viewer might wonder if this is more vlog than value. Make the connection slightly clearer after each joke so viewers aren't left waiting. Missing grand payoff setup. Holy hell, this script needs a full rewrite. And then there's some rambling as well.
Gotta get back on the plane to France.
Yeah, film it again.
Gotta go back over there.
Business expense. But then also it'll tell you what's working really well and some suggested structural tweaks.
Nice. I think this is really cool. I think, yeah, if you can like actually look at your retention curve once the video has gone out. Yes. And then use that to teach the GPT and be like, actually, you were wrong here. This actually landed and this underperformed. And I guess over time, it would be good. It'd be good if you could even, I don't want to give you more work, but like build outside of GPT in a way where people can actually customize it with their own retention. Like if you can plug into YouTube, because obviously if you start giving it all of this feedback here inside of GPT, that's based on your target audience, your viewers. And if someone else uses this in a completely different niche, is that gonna be the same?
Yeah, you've just witnessed me having like the biggest existential crisis in a good way of my life. Yes, that's so good. I love that. How do I do that? Cool. Someone develop that for me.
Don't ask me. I have loads of ideas like that, but I'm not technical enough to implement it.